Word from our friend's brother. Be right back.
This is Luke Goss, and this is one of my favorite places to check out all things movie. Check it out. This is the QC.
Hey, this is Nick Smith. You're watching the QC, the best in entertainment, reviews, and more. This is the way.
This is the way.
This is the way.
Welcome back to the QC. I'm Swanka Burnett, your host. Happy Halloween. Very excited to have a conversation today about our favorite Halloween and spooky season movies, TV shows, entertainment news, a lot of other fun, good stuff. And yes, I am Hollywood Hulk Hogan. So we are bringing in our two guests, QC OGs, who've been participating with the channel since day one, my good friends and relatives actually as well. Bringing in first, Jared. Jared, how's it going?
Doing well. Happy Halloween.
Happy Halloween, man. All right, so bringing in our final guest, also been with us since day one, Jordan.
What's going on? Hello.
What's going on, Jordan?
How we doing, Hulk?
I'm doing good.
How's it going, brother?
Can't complain. Yeah. So I'm just trying to keep this mustache from falling off. Hurts my talk to kind of like adjust itself. But
way simpler with the costume. I feel like no one can even tell it's a Toon Squad jersey, but I didn't try nearly as hard as you did.
It works. No problem, man. Yeah, no, I got the fingerless gloves going here. I got the Hulk Hogan, Hollywood Hogan jeans as well too. You know, so
yeah, he's ready to go.
It all worked out pretty well. So cool. So how are you guys doing?
Doing well. Doing pretty good.
Well. Can't complain. Ready to talk about all the scary thriller goodness for today.
Me too.
Oh yeah, all of it that you've seen, Jared. So much of it.
Hey, you know what? I've seen enough. I can comment. Don't call me out yet. Give me a shot first.
Okay, we'll see.
Okay, cool. So our first question that we're going to be discussing as my phone starts to go off here. All right. So
this is cool.
Cool. So horror spooky movie that freaked you out the first time you saw it and you've never been the same.
Okay, so this was actually my favorite question that you had, because it's not even a question which movie it is for me. It's The Exorcist. There is no movie that has traumatized me more than The Exorcist. Essentially, I was 12 years old when I saw that movie, or when I saw lots of chunks of it. I didn't watch the whole movie. I just watched the scariest parts. And after it, I had insomnia for about 2 months because I couldn't sleep. Legitimately, I couldn't sleep at night because I was so afraid of demons in my room. So yeah, Exorcist easily as top list of horrendous movie. It's an incredible movie. So effective. Like, it's timeless. You can play that movie 50 years from now and it'll still be terrifying for everybody. But yeah, I'm not going to watch that movie ever again. Never, ever.
Yeah, no, that movie, like, the whole thing with the head spinning around and the vomit.
So the spider walk. It was the spider walk, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you can do that in a movie, in a video game. I'm always going to run scared. It's not good.
Yeah. Nah, it's not a good look. Not a good look.
All right, so I guess mine is, and as I've already been outed, I don't watch a ton of horror, so I think some of my answers here to be more like thrillery versus horror. But more recently, I don't know if anybody else saw the movie Life. I don't know, like 3-4 years ago. I feel like it slept on. I went into that movie not knowing how scary it would be, but the little organism thing that ends up becoming like way worse, like, gave me nightmares for a couple of weeks afterwards, which I did not expect because I was a fully grown adult. So that's the difference. I've had horror movies that scared me as a kid, but that's the one that messed with you the most, like within recent memory. I don't know, the sci-fi stuff can get to me sometimes, so I'd say Life.
Interesting. Yeah. Just Alien. It's like Alien again, but with a different organism. But it's good.
Obviously, Alien's a great one too, but yeah, I was trying to keep it a little more current.
Yeah, no, I really like Life too. I remember when it first came out, people were saying that it was like a backdoor origin movie for Venom. People were saying that, which didn't prove to be true, but it's interesting because you have this thing that, in some ways, I guess, resembles what a symbiote might have started off as. But no, that was a movie. Very underrated. I feel like a lot of people didn't actually see that movie, and
that's kind of why I wanted to bring it up. I feel like it was very
Yeah, I feel like a lot of people didn't see it, and then also I thought it was really ballsy that they. I mean, spoiler alert for whatever 4-year-old.
Oh, I love the ending. I love the ending.
I thought it was ballsy that they killed what's his name in the very beginning, and you kind of assumed that he was
Gosling?
Ryan Reynolds.
And Ryan Reynolds. Yeah, they're both in it.
Ryan Reynolds. Yeah, he dies in the first certainly in the first act. I don't know, the first 20 minutes.
Ryan Reynolds and Ryan Gosling and Jake Gyllenhaal.
No, not Gosling. Gyllenhaal and Reynolds.
Gyllenhaal's not in Life.
Or maybe I mixed them up.
Jake Gyllenhaal's in Life?
Yeah, I'm almost positive.
Yeah, he is.
Oh, yeah, he is. Oh, yeah, you're right. My bad. Yes, you're right. Jake Gyllenhaal's 100% in Life.
I just quickly found it myself. I got it. Yeah.
Yeah, Ryan Reynolds, you can argue with the biggest name.
Okay.
I mean, I guess Jake Gyllenhaal, you can make a case that they're on the same level. But certainly you didn't think Ryan Reynolds was going to die in the first act. You thought he was going to make it to the end. So
not at all.
But that was very ballsy. And really great movie. And like Calvin is a very underrated like movie monster, whatever you want to call it. Like that thing was just like
Calvin,
just taking out everybody, supremely intelligent. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So yeah, no,
I love
definitely.
the movie.
I thought the first half
turns into like this tentacle monster. You're like, no, Calvin, stop.
Yeah, I thought the first half of the movie was like literally perfect. Like the first building the dread, and when it's so tiny and small, I just think that was like when it gets bigger, it kind of just turns into like a slasher in space, kind of, which is fine. But like when it's super tiny and like still small and growing and like clearly malevolent, like wants to kill, like I'm like that was actually terrifying. So yeah, no, good choice. That's a good choice.
The stream. There we go. We're back now. But yeah, so my choice for the movie that kind of freaked me out, and I just remember where I was, like it's burned into my brain coming out of the theater, and that's the original Saw movie. And keep in mind, when I saw the original Saw, I didn't know that there was going to be 90 sequels every year for the next decade, and that they were just kind of running into the ground. So this is just you didn't know Saw was a franchise because it wasn't a franchise at the time,
right?
And I was seeing it with a bunch of my cousins back when I was living in Boston. And when the scene happens where Jigsaw gets up off the ground and he goes the keys and that whatever in that corner and then he slams the door, like we all were like, what just happened?
It's such a huge
like
twist.
So like just shocked by that ending, and it's just one of the best twists as far as the movie is concerned that I can remember. You know, outside of M. Night Shyamalan, like I feel like people don't really talk about how big of a twist at the time that was. Seeing that Jigsaw was laying there on the ground the entire
time,
looking at them, you know what I mean? So that was a pretty crazy moment, and I'll never forget where I was.
Yeah, I have a different perspective of that movie because I saw Saw, like when Saw was first coming out, I was really young, so I wasn't old enough at all to go see the Saw in theaters. So I saw the first Saw after the first 4 Saw movies had already come out, and I thought that Saw movies were just torture porn. I thought it was just. And that's what it's turned into, you know? It is just torture porn now, kind of. At least that's what I think. But I watched the first one because the first one I heard was supposed to be good. And I'm like, I didn't know that it's like almost, it's a crime thriller. It's a crime thriller, like locked inside of a horror concept. And like you said, that ending is crazy. It's like, he's just been alive the entire time. And the actor actually just during filming, he just laid there. That wasn't a body double. That wasn't an actual, that wasn't like, that wasn't a prop. That was him. Every time you saw him, it was just him lying down for takes upon takes.
Wow, commitment.
Yeah. Tobin Bell, I think his name is.
Yes.
If I'm not mistaken. Yeah. And it's interesting. I feel like has he been in any other movies? I don't feel like I've seen him in anything.
Yeah. He has, but I couldn't tell you.
The Hayden Christensen of horror, if you will.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So we'll move on to the next segment. So, favorite horror spooky movie that you feel like no one has seen?
See, this one's a tough one because most of the movie, I feel like most of the ones I've seen are usually ones that other people have seen.
I have two, I think. They're only
you're gonna go first. You're gonna go first on this one then.
Yeah, they're not like true like slasher movies, but the two I would say, definitely in the horror-ish genre would be Train to Busan and Europa Report. Train to Busan being Korean, but I think as like Korean movies are starting to, at least with Parasite, like people are kind of, and Squid Game. So between those two now, I think people are like more open to it. So Train to Busan's excellent zombie movie, and then Europa Report.
Best ever.
Yeah, best. Yeah, in our opinion, best zombie movie of all time. Highly recommend it. just watch it with subtitles. It's not that big a deal. It's an amazing movie anyway. Like all the way to the end, start to finish, and has twists too. Like definitely not predictable. And then Europa Report was more of like a kind of like an indie movie, kind of like in the same vein as Life, but definitely a different spin on it. So in regards to like super slept on kind of lower budget movies, Europa Report I still thought was really well done, and not that long, like 80 minutes too.
Yeah, it's really short. So the one I'm gonna say, okay, it's kind of a cop out because I feel like people have seen this movie, but it's still not super popular. It was definitely more of a sleeper hit, and that's It Follows, which you probably
Stole one of my answers from later.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, okay. Yeah, I figured
What's
because I figured because I'm like you probably because you liked It Follows a lot.
The sexually transmitted demon.
Oh,
Exactly,
dude, it's such a good concept.
Yeah. Which
Exactly.
sounds crazy, but that's literally what the movie is.
Legitimately what it is.
Yeah, it's like to scare Catholic kids essentially into staying virgins.
Abstinence.
That's what I heard. That was like a conspiracy theory about it. Was like, oh, it's
That
just to
is
scare
hilarious.
kids into abstinence.
Yeah, which is hilarious. So, yeah, It Follows would be the one. It's just like it's such a cool concept because you'll be in a scene and like there's a bunch of people around, and it's like, okay, which one is the thing? Is it here? I don't know. Is it here right now? Is it gonna pop up? And there's I see it, and it's just walking.
Yeah, whoever you're always every
So
scene in that
slowly.
movie, you're watching for someone slowly walking. Walk anytime. You're like anything slowly walking. You're like, where? It could be anywhere. Dude, it's such a good concept.
It's a great concept.
Movie long.
Yeah,
excellent, and slept on movie. Yeah, one of my favorites, as you already know.
huge fan.
Right on. So my pick for this is there's actually two films as well, but they're related to one another. So it's a film called Let the Right One In, which is a Swedish vampire film, which came out in 2008, and it's a kind of more like a romantic horror. But it's basically the basic premise is you have this vampire. She's a young girl, and she always has to have a handler, and her main handler. And again, this is kind of spoiling the movie for people who haven't seen it, but it's still you can still watch it and still enjoy it. But her handler dies, so she has to find a new one. And her handler is obviously in this case an older man, but he passes away, and then she finds another boy who is her age, and she's a vampire, so she doesn't age. But obviously the boy is going to get older. And it's just a vampire movie where you have this vampire who's like hundreds of years old. You don't actually know how old she is, but she's in the body obviously of a child, like a 13-year-old child. And her new handler is a 13-year-old boy, and like it's basically a story about how she needs him to help her to find people to kill to live. But it's also like kind of like got a sweet undertone between the two of them, but it's weird because she's actually 100 and whatever years old, and he's 13 in real life, and he's just kind of like this mistreated, kind of bullied kid, and he's just kind of looking for someone to be friends with, and he becomes friends with this vampire. But it's really got some mustache hair in my mouth, but it's just a really good kind of atmospheric, scary horror movie. And then they redid it, I don't know, maybe like 5 or 6 years ago with Chloe Grace Moretz as the main villain, and that was called Let Me In.
Oh, I've heard about this. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So neither film I think was very much seen, but they're both. If you like horror movies, you like vampire movies, you like kind of like atmospheric, good story, good acting, some gruesome kind of kills too in it as well. Mm-hmm. It's a really good movie. It kind of has like an Interview with the Vampire kind of feel a little bit, I guess you could say. But yeah, it's called Let the Right One In. Is the original Swedish film from 2008, and then years later, I don't know what it was. I think it was gonna be like 5 years ago. They made Let Me In, which was the American version with Chloe Grace Moretz as the young vampire. So definitely check that one out if you get a chance. I'm sure it's streaming somewhere. But yeah, Jordan, did you give us your movies for this category?
Yeah.
Okay,
It Follows.
Okay, great. It Follows.
Yeah.
Perfect. Okay, perfect. My bad. All right, so we will move on to the next segment. So, favorite horror comedy.
Oh, didn't know that was one of them. Okay.
I can start. Go ahead, Jared. Go ahead.
I just want to take just because I already have one of my movies taken, so I don't want to get stolen again. I'm gonna take an oldie but a goodie and just go Zombieland.
That's a good one.
So I feel like when it comes to horror comedy, like at least or like parodying of a horror-y trope, Zombieland 1, the second one not so much. Zombieland 1, OG. Like Twinkies will never be the same, or Snowballs.
Oh yeah, no Twinkies. He only finds snowballs. But
It's
No,
all right. He finds Snowballs and he's pissed that they're not Twinkies. But like that still sticks with me. That movie came out probably a full 10, 11 years ago, and still when I see Twinkies, I still think of Woody Harrelson and just essentially freaking out in a hostess trap.
Tallahassee.
Yeah. So favorite horror comedy, Zombieland. Always a good call.
Yeah.
Right on.
No, that was good. Yeah, Swan, you can go. You can go for this one too.
So mine is Cabin in the Woods, and this is
really good.
Yeah,
That's
this is
really
a movie
good.
where it was directed by Joss Whedon. It was
Yeah.
written by Drew Goddard, who he wrote for Buffy the Vampire Slayer, wrote for the show Angel, which is a spinoff of Buffy. Two shows that I happen to also love. But Cabin in the Woods is just it's a send up love letter to horror movies in general, and it basically covers every horror movie trope you can think of. And it's just the writing is great, the acting is good. It has Chris Hemsworth as the star pre-Thor. So he's at the time he wasn't really the guy we know of now. So it's interesting seeing Chris Hemsworth playing a role that is just very much not like a Thor type role or like a Extraction type role. Not really. There's some action to it, but he's not really. He's not the Chris Hemsworth we know in this movie, and it's just really exciting film. Really subversive as far as like subverting the genre and having a lot of fun with it. And yeah, did you? So you guys enjoyed that film too?
Oh yeah, it's great. He's a huge fan. It's literally it's so unpredictable. Like you think it's one thing, and then it turns into by the end of the movie, you're like, oh my gosh, this is not at all what I thought it was at the beginning, which made sense. That's what the review said, and how it ends is like very apocalyptic, which is once again not what I was expecting at all. So no, I love that movie. It's a great choice.
Right on. All right.
Yeah.
So how about favorite horror spooky TV series of all time?
Oh, that's easy for me. Yeah. That's really easy.
Oh, really? I thought it was harder. All right, I'll let you go then, because I thought this was a little bit tougher.
No, easy. Haunting of Hill House, because Haunting of Hill House is easily actually I'm gonna use Jared as almost like a prop, because I told Jared, I'm like, you have to watch this show. I know you don't really like horror that much, but you have to watch it because it is a horror show, but it's locked inside of like a This Is Us style family drama. And it's so good at getting you invested in the characters that you won't even care that it's a horror movie or show.
Right.
And that's exactly what it was essentially. Like between the split timelines, plus they had good child actors, so dual narrative storytelling with like incredible story arcs. I'm a huge fan of the tone and atmosphere. Mike Flanagan did an incredible job. Episode 6 being the one take episode, which was just exquisite, and just the characters, the whole story and everything, just easily. It was chilling, but it was emotional. And it was dramatic. It was like it was everything. It was everything you kind of want out of the story, So that's why I like it so much.
Dang it, that's a great pick. Oh,
It sounds great. I actually have not seen that one. So
hop on it. Hop on. It's a Netflix show, easy to watch for everybody.
Okay.
Yep.
What do you got for us, Jared?
Favorite horror. So I don't know. I feel like Haunting of Hill House, I have to agree. I can't take that now, but technically that would be my answer if I had thought of it as Jordan gave in this story. Yeah, I think the best thing that I can say is, once again, it's not full on horror, but just because I love it so much, I'm gonna throw it in here and just go Black Mirror. Obviously, depending on the episode, it's not always going to be horror, but there are some, like the video game episode that has Wyatt Russell in it. So U.S. agent from Cap and the Winter Soldier. For instance, that episode, very horror, right? So it definitely has USS Callister, like definitely has like horror-ish elements to it, and there's like getting trapped in the in that like Star Trek like simulator for all time, right? So it's not always a horror show, but in regards to like what's a show that scares me, that's one of my favorites of all time, easily Black Mirror. All the seasons are great. Like obviously every one of them so different, but since Hill House was taken, I'm gonna go Black Mirror. Okay, cool. So for me, I'm gonna go Stranger Things. I mean, I know it falls more on another great choice. Yeah,
it falls more on the spooky side. What's that?
Season one.
Yeah, season one. And before I get into a broader conversation about it, I totally agree with you that season 1 of Stranger Things, honestly, I know this might seem hyperbolic, but I really feel like of everything that I pretty much watched as an adult, the show that really caught me to the point where like as I was watching it, I was like, this is pretty much the perfect viewing experience for like what I enjoy. The first season of Stranger Things, like it just was perfect. Like, you know, and it was a mist. Yeah. So say it again, Jared.
Lightning in a bottle. I'm saying it's lightning in a bottle. I don't think the Duffer Brothers have been able to capture that again.
Yeah, because they're getting too old. They're getting too old. I swear, that's a big reason for it.
Right, and that's you took the words out of my mouth. So it was the mystery aspect. Like you didn't know what the upside down was. You know, she's like, you know, the main character, whatever his name is, Will Byers is caught in some alternate reality, and she's talking to him to the lights, and you're just like, you're sitting there as a viewer, like, what the hell is going on?
Crazy.
Yeah, you know what I mean. And it just was like, I don't know, it just captured everything. I love 80s movies. I'm an 80s baby, so it was like the best of Goonies, the best of, you know, every Steven Spielberg film, you know what I mean? So it just was, that first season was just like, mwah, it just was like perfection. Yeah. And season 2 was great as well. And don't get me wrong, a bad episode of Stranger Things is better than 90% of TV. And when I say bad, I mean like not as good as season 1. None of it is bad. So I'm not going to sit here and tell you that any of the seasons are not good, but it's just the season 1 was just so perfect. It's like you can't capture that lightning in a bottle. To Jared's point again, but I adore that show. You know what I mean? There's a pop-up bar they did once for Stranger Things in Leesburg, Virginia, where I live here in Northern Virginia. I went there. That was so much fun. They did a pop-up bar in Chicago that I actually considered buying a flight to go there because I just wanted to go to the pop-up bar. So that's how much of a big fan I am of Stranger Things. But I love that show, and I can't wait for the next season. And I'm hoping they kind of get back to some more mystery, because I feel like if they just keep doing the upside down, I mean, I don't know. I guess we'll see. I mean, those guys, the Duffer Brothers, I have faith in them. So we'll see. We'll see what they do with the next season.
Yeah, whenever we get to see it sometime in 2022.
Right on. All right, so we will move into our favorite horror spooky movie of all the times. What do you guys got?
So this is kind of a hot take. It's funny because when this movie came out, the trailers made it out to be one thing, and audiences really didn't like it a lot for this reason, because they thought it was going to be something totally different. But Hereditary is by far the most dread-inducing movie I've ever seen. A lot of people who watch it don't really like it because they think it's not a traditional horror movie, but it's like it's so seeped in dread and terror. It comes from like a human place. It's not like it's supernatural. It has supernatural elements to it, but so much of the dread and terror revolves around the toxicity in the family and what's happened in the past of the family. And that's where the spookier elements come in. But the way that they intertwine so well, it's on another level when it comes to how it's another kind of experience for me when it comes to spookiness or horror. So Hereditary, top pick. Toni Collette, incredible in that movie.
Absolutely. I love that movie. And what's funny is I actually had recommended that to my cousin Karima, which you guys might know, and I love that movie. I think it's great, and she thought it was like the worst horror movie she ever saw. So I was just like,
exactly.
how are we? Because she and I have very similar taste in movies, so I was kind of shocked that she didn't like it. But yeah, no, Hereditary was great, and like the scene where the girl, and again, spoilers for.
Of course, that scene that you can't forget.
That was just and that actress is like her look is very unsettling. I don't know, something about her just in general is just kind of creepy. So yeah. Jared, did you see Hereditary, Jared?
I have not seen Hereditary.
Okay, gotcha. Okay, cool. All right, so what is your favorite of all time, Mr. Jared?
I'm still sitting here and I'm trying to come up with what my second favorite was, because I got called out. So we had to look at the questions before this, and I said, okay, favorite movie, It Follows, and then Jordan took it in the unseen who hasn't seen that movie. So I feel bad kind of double shouting it out. I'm trying to I might let you go see if I can come up with something else, because
all right, cool.
It's both slept on and my favorite at the same time.
Gotcha. Yeah. So for me, it's too hard to pick one. I mean, one horror movie. I mean, I love literally I'm in a group chat with three of my close cousins. It's Horror Movie Gang is the name of the chat and on the iPhone. So we love horror movies, and it's really hard to pick one. But what I wanted to do is so I love science fiction also, and in addition to horror. So I was like thinking of movies that I really enjoyed in the horror genre, and I thought of one that really stuck with me that I try to watch every year. That is a horror movie, but it's also science fiction as well. So it's a film called Event Horizon.
Oh, yeah.
Have you guys seen Event Horizon?
So I've seen bits and pieces, but your uncle, our father, has said he will never watch Event Horizon again because there's one scene in there that's so horrifying that it's seared into his brain forever, and he can never watch that movie again.
Yeah.
I don't know what scene it is. I haven't seen the movie, but I've definitely heard of Event Horizon, and I know that's like really there's some really, really crazy imagery in it. So, but I'll let you talk about it.
Yeah. So Event Horizon is it's one of those movies where part of the reason why I find it so fascinating is I always think things that can actually potentially happen are a lot scarier to me than like supernatural things. I think supernatural things are scary as well. But the basic premise of Event Horizon is this guy is a scientist. It's in the future. They don't say when. It's just in the far-flung future. And he's a scientist / astronaut type guy. And he discovers a way to basically travel faster than the speed of light. And the way they do it is using like wormholes / black holes, where basically instead of traveling from here,
the paper. I was like, he's
here,
doing paper.
kind of like in Stranger Things. They fold these two worlds together. So and you basically travel through a black hole in order to get from one point to another. So you get there instantaneously. But what they find out is this black hole place, when the plane travels through it, is like some horrific kind of like hell dimension where anything that passes through, even if it's not like a living creature, even like a plane or aircraft in this case, spacecraft in this case, will become disrupted by like demons. And like it's just so the aircraft starts showing everybody in on the plane their deepest fears, but then actually they can physically be harmed by these kind of like hallucinations. And it's just, I don't know, it gets really dark and there's some really like creepy stuff. And if you get to watch the DVD, there's even more deleted scenes of like really crazy, spooky stuff in there. So I think it's one of the best that I can think of horror science fiction mashups. It's not like a ton of movies in that genre, but it's really good. So that's what I'm going to go with for my favorite horror movie of all time.
On the watch list.
Yeah. Jared, did you want to give us one, or did you want to go on to the next segment?
I'm just so I can say something. I'm gonna go Alien, just because we already mentioned we kind of mentioned it. But when it comes to like the OGs and one of the greatest characters of all time, obviously with Ripley, I'll go with Alien, just to make sure I can check the box here.
In space, no one can hear you scream. Even by the horizon of the black hole, no one can hear you scream.
So did you guys? Jared, I know to ask you, Jordan. Did you happen to watch Halloween Kills yet?
No.
Okay. All right. Yeah, you're not missing anything.
I know. I know it's not supposed to be good. So
yeah, it's one of those things where if you're just a diehard Michael Myers fan and like you just want to see him, do some interesting kills, you'll get that from the movie. But it's advertised, and again, I'm spoiling things because
go for it.
Not long enough.
Do
but if you are going to that film based upon the marketing, which presented it as, the final confrontation between Jamie Lee Curtis and Michael Myers. Well, Jamie Lee Curtis is in a hospital bed the entire movie. She literally never encounters Michael Myers in the film. Now, granted, this is the second film in the trilogy, so we're gonna find out, I guess, what happens in the next iteration. But yeah, there's no story to speak of. Like, it just the way the people react in the movie is just asinine. I don't know. I didn't enjoy it. And a lot of people on the internet supposedly liked it, but I don't know. I didn't really care for it. But anyway, so I would say unless you're a diehard Michael Myers fan, I would say skip it. So
I heard that Michael Myers is homophobic now because he killed a gay couple.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah, I don't really know what to say about that. I feel like everybody's fair game in horror movies. You know what I mean? So
I thought that was hilarious. He's an equal opportunity killer. He kills everybody.
Yeah, I think Michael Myers just kills people. I don't think he cares about it.
He don't discriminate.
He does it.
Don't discriminate.
You know what I just thought of, and I don't know why I thought of this right now, but this is going to be my honorable mention for like just great horror movies that no one's maybe seen / just underrated. Have you guys ever seen The Faculty?
No,
I've never heard of it.
Haven't even heard of it.
Oh man! All right. It's basically it came out in the 2000s, and it stars like the guy from Lord of the Rings. What's his name?
A lot of guys.
What's that?
Sean Bean. I said there's a lot of guys in Lord of the Rings.
Yeah,
well, the main guy. Is it Frodo?
Elijah Wood.
Elijah Wood. Yeah, stars Elijah Wood. It's just like it has the guy who was the T-1000 as like a monster. And anyway, if you guys haven't seen it, we'll go past it. But for people watching, you guys know The Faculty. If you haven't seen it, watch it.
You know.
Good.
Okay.
Did you guys watch the Scream trailer?
Yes.
Okay, cool.
Yes.
So what were your thoughts on that?
So
What were these questions?
I didn't hear what you said, but I'm just laughing anyway.
we'll see. I mean, I think that I feel like when it comes to movies like Scream, and I think same thing kind of happened. We touched on this with Saw and Spiral that came out with Chris Rock earlier this year. I feel like when you get that deep into these franchises, specifically any franchise, but even more so, I think with horror, like my expectations get pretty tempered. So it looks like they're trying to kind of inject some new life into it. But, I could see this being it could be like a Halloween Kills thing where we go in thinking it's going to be, fresh blood and exciting. And you come out and you're like, oh, it was just kind of the same. So we'll see. I'm not super hyped for it personally, but that's just my opinion on it.
Yeah. Go ahead, Jordan.
I have seen the Scream 5 trailer. I forgot that I played before Dune. So I mean, the first Scream, actually, when you mentioned horror comedy, because I couldn't really think of, I didn't have them prior. Would you consider Scream almost kind of like with comedic undertones? Because I almost, it's not a comedy, but it's very subversive with how they do the slasher. Because like the dude, he trips all the time. He kind of sucks at killing people.
Right.
Like, I found that really funny.
It qualifies. I mean, it's a horror, but it's definitely you can't deny there's some comedic elements in there, which I think is what I think is the best approach.
Right,
rather than trying to be like slapstick.
Exactly. So on Scream 5 trailer, I've only seen Scream 1, so I'm not really attached to it. I saw that they got like David.
You never saw Scream 1?
No, I have seen Scream 1.
Okay.
I've seen Scream 1. I haven't seen any of the other Screams.
Okay.
But I mean, I see that they got a lot of the original cast, like Courtney Cox and David Arquette.
Yeah.
So I mean, for me, it was just like, okay, we'll see. I'm probably not going to watch it because I feel like the slasher style, and kind of like what Jared said, like when you have a continuation of a franchise going on this long, it's hard to come up with new ideas that feel fresh. So unless it comes out and then everyone's blown away like Mad Max Fury Road, it's like, oh my gosh, it's actually incredible. Watch that. Maybe that could happen. You never know. Like maybe it revitalizes the franchise, but it's pretty neutral for me. Lukewarm.
Not everyone can be Fast and the Furious and just like reinvent themselves in the sixth movie.
Fifth movie, yeah.
Fifth movie.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So the original Scream to me is one of my favorite horror movies. I know I forgot to mention it until now, but love the original Scream. I think it really kind of changed it brought the slasher genre back because it was kind of gone. You know what I mean? Like people weren't really making traditional slasher movies anymore after the heyday in the 80s with Jason Voorhees, Michael Myers, Nightmare on Elm Street. Like those movies kind of fell out of favor, and you were starting to see more of like the just different types of horror movies, like not traditional slashers, and that kind of brought it back. So love the original Scream. I thought you got diminishing returns with Scream 2, Scream 3. Scream 4 was actually pretty good, but still never reached I feel the quality of the original movie. Never watched the show. I know there's like a weird MTV show I never watched. But as far as the Scream 5 trailer, it just really didn't stand out to me. Like it just seems very like I was expecting something like, oh, like they're gonna break the mold and do something different and like just present us with something that felt like this is the next iteration of Scream, and like we're giving you something different. And I was kind of waiting for that to happen, and it just kind of never did. So I'm hoping the movie is better than what we saw in the trailer. But that was kind of my thoughts on it.
Yeah.
Could be phoned in. We'll see.
Right on. All right, so we will go on to our next segment, which is a show that we all know and love. So they just announced a few days ago, Ted Lasso season 3 starts filming in January. So for people watching, if you're not watching Ted Lasso, what are you doing with your life? The show is so good. It's the feel-good show of ever. Like if you're in a bad mood, like Ted Lasso,
you can't not like it. You can't not like it. You're not human.
Literally.
You're not human if you don't like that show.
Yeah.
It's not just a show, and he's not just a character. It's an ideal. Ted Lasso is a way of life. It's how we should all live in our lives. He's like a prophet. You should all aspire to be like Ted Lasso, and that's why you need to watch the show, because you need to learn how to embody his energy and give it to the world, because that's what the world needs. Watch Ted Lasso.
Couldn't have said it better. He is everyone's spirit animal now. That's it. We are all Ted, or at least we all wish we were Ted.
Yep. And Yanko would disagree though.
Yeah, as I said it. That's a morning show reference for everybody that's watching that too.
Yeah, I'm actually not caught up on Ted Lasso because I'm watching it with somebody, and I'm trying not to betray them and trying to only watch it when they're available to watch it with me. But Ted Lasso season 1 was just sublime. Season 2 is very good as well. I think season 1 was a little bit better so far. I'm still only about halfway through season 1. Has it finished yet? I feel like it's getting close to the end.
Yeah, I think it's done. I think it is.
It's done.
Ted.
Yeah, season
Ted
2.
Lasso,
Yeah, Ted is done. Ted.
Yeah.
As of a few weeks ago.
Okay, yeah, that's what I thought because I gotta get back in there and kind of grind to the last few. But yeah, no, great show. Jason Sudeikis deserves all the praise that he's getting for his
performance. Goldstein as Roy Kent is all like it cleaned up at the Emmys. Hannah Waddingham as Rebecca. Juno Temple is great. Like everybody in the show is great. Even the people whose names I don't know, like who play Nate and Coach Beard. Like everybody in that show is excellent.
Yeah. So fun fact about Ted Lasso is the guy that plays Roy Kent. I can't think of his actual name right now, but yeah, he actually he's a writer for the show. Yeah. And he was writing the Roy Kent character, and he basically said, you know what, I feel like I'd be a great person to play this character. So he pitched to the showrunners I think he just recorded like a sizzle reel of him doing some of the lines. And he sent that to the showrunners, and they actually ended up hiring him to play the character as well.
So cool.
Yeah.
Did he have prior acting experience?
I don't know. I just know that he was on, I think, like Jimmy Kimmel or something. And I heard him tell that story.
He was on Seth Meyers, and he was telling that story.
Yeah. Okay. So Seth Meyers. Yeah. And I was like, that's so cool. Like, yeah, it's so cool. No. So multi-talented. Like the guy's a writer by trade, and then he's like, yeah, this character, I feel like I can play this character, and now he's like acting. And he's like kind of a breakout character on the show, in my opinion.
Seriously, I couldn't imagine anybody else playing Roy. Honestly.
Yeah, now he jokes that like when in writers' rooms, people will pitch ideas for Roy, and he's like, "Oh, Roy wouldn't say that." Stuff like that. So I was like, that's got to be fun when you can write for yourself. That's pretty unique.
All right, so we have somebody asking, what's our favorite movie of all time? That's
straight up favorite movie.
Straight up favorite of all time. So I'll let you guys go. What do you guys?
That's a loaded question. Oh goodness.
I feel like you can't pick just a single. It's impossible. It's literally impossible.
Kind of is.
But I will go with one of my favorites that I've seen in recent memory, which will be Parasite. I'll say Parasite. It's not my favorite of all time, but in recent memory, that movie is just a slam dunk, phenomenal. Like it's just everything. So that's what I'm going to say right now. I wouldn't call it my favorite because you can't pick just one. It's impossible. Yeah,
this may not be of all time, but I'm a huge Denis Villeneuve fan. So for sure, in my Hall of Fame, both Dune. Everybody go watch Dune in theaters.
Wait, you're putting Dune in your favorite movies of all time list?
Dune and Arrival. I don't know, man. I just saw it, so it's real high up there. And I didn't think about the question. So, it's very dependent. But Arrival is for sure up there. So I'm just saying, kind of throwing them out. Arrival might be my favorite movie of all time.
All right. I mean, well, I guess we can come back to Dune.
Wow.
Look,
okay.
I respect.
Disagree?
Go ahead. Yeah, no, obviously, yeah, no. I respect your guys' opinion. I love you guys, but I don't know, Dune. I just felt like it was kind of a snooze, man. Like I don't know. I had a hard time finishing it. So that's all I'm gonna say.
Yeah. You watched it in whatever. It's fine.
I did watch it at home. So I did watch it at home.
Lots of respect for you once you said you're watching it at home. So it's cool.
Gotta watch it in IMAX.
We don't need you.
It's a great IMAX movie.
Yeah. So my favorite movie of all time, there's really two, and I'm only going to talk about one of them, but I'll tell you both. One of them is The Goonies, and that movie just embodies my childhood. That is my youth. So I'm a nostalgia person. I love nostalgic things, so I'm going to go Goonies. But my favorite movie of all time, and this one it's kind of I think a strange choice because I don't think most people would pick it as a favorite movie of all time because it's just what it is.
That's fine.
But I'm picking it because it's a movie that I will watch literally anytime. There's like 20 sequences in it that like are for me just perfection. And when I tell you it, you're gonna laugh, but it's the original 1990 Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles film, live action film.
Wow.
And I love that movie. And I know you guys are laughing. You guys are laughing. You should go read my review on my website. It's thequickcritic.com. And the reason why I picked that movie, it's not about what you think it is. You think of it as just kind of like a movie that is about Ninja Turtles, but it's about family. It's about family. And it's about like overcoming anger. It's about like
it's actually about family. It's not about cars.
Yeah, it's about like what it's like to be a brother. It's about leadership. So anyway, I'm sticking by that choice. I love that movie. I'll watch it literally anytime. If you haven't seen it recently and you're watching this, go back and watch it and come back and tell me what you think. Because I really feel that movie is a lot better than it gets.
Homework.
A lot better than it has any right being, and a lot better than you might think just because you think, oh, Ninja Turtles, you think it's like a silly movie, and it's not. It's really it's played completely straight. This mustache is killing me, and it's actually kind of dark film as well. So anyway, so favorite zombie movie of all time. Somebody's asking here, my friend Itchy. What do you guys think?
Okay.
Well, Train to Busan.
Yeah, I'm sticking with. I said it earlier in the stream. Train to Busan. It's on Prime Video. Last I checked.
Yes.
Best zombie movie. It's better than World War Z. It's better than Walking Dead's a TV show, but whatever. I'm trying to think of other zombie things. It's easily the best in my opinion.
I will say I haven't seen 28 Days Later. I know it's a travesty, but that's the only one that people say like you have to watch 28 Days Later because it's so good. I don't know how you feel about 28 Days Later, but I haven't seen it. Swank, I'm not sure if you've seen it either.
Say it again, Jared.
28 Days Later. Have you seen?
Yeah, I saw it. It was a hot minute ago, but I've seen there's 28 Days Later and 28 Weeks Later. I've seen both of those. They're pretty good.
Okay, gotcha. Some people love it. Some people really love that movie. So
I
Train to Busan for me.
Yeah. So favorite zombie movie of all time. So I'll give two real quick. So I really like the Dawn of the Dead remake, directed by who's the guy that Zack Snyder. I really enjoyed that. That came out, I don't know, maybe 10 years ago, something like that. It was really well made. The most un-Zack Snyder movie you've ever seen. So it's not like you think it's Zack Snyder, you think like style over substance. And it was a very traditional kind of horror movie.
So it's a better
Zack directed by Zack Snyder. So really enjoyed that. And then one that's kind of a silly pick, but I just really liked it, is the Resident Evil film, the first one.
Oh, I've seen that.
Yeah, I
thought you were going to say Shaun of the Dead.
That was really good. Yeah,
that would have been a good silly pick for best zombie movie.
Yeah. So just kind of going through some of the comments here.
He does disagree with us on this.
Yeah. I have different opinions on Dune. That's fine. We'll hash that out. We'll hash that out off stream. Have that discussion.
Did you guys see April Fools? I didn't see that one.
I don't even know what that is.
I'm not.
Yeah, I did not see that one. April Fools, one of the best horror movies. Okay, let's check that out. We got here Nightmare on Elm Street. Well, yeah.
Great. Nightmare on Elm Street. Excellent. I rewatched it. I watched it last week.
Yeah.
Really good.
Sean agrees with me on Resident Evil. Very cool. Very cool.
Games over the movies for me, but all right.
Okay.
I'm Legend's good. I'm Legend's really good.
Legend's a good one. That's a good pick. Yeah. Great pick.
I thought I'm Legend was okay. I thought it was okay. I
think it's mostly impressive that you can make a movie with one person and have it be that.
And a dog.
And a dog. One actor.
That's a character. Yeah.
There's essentially one actor for the whole movie.
80%. Like 80% of the movie. There's flashbacks. No, there's flash. I see what you're saying, though. Majority of the movie. Yeah.
But yeah, for the most part, it's just like, hey, Will Smith, go make us money. And he was like, all right, cool.
Right.
Bet I got you.
Bet I got you.
Do you guys have a response to this one? What's one of a movie that freaked you out as a kid?
Paranormal that was like the first question. You weren't a kid, but yeah.
I guess that is the first.
I'm picking a different one since it's coming up.
Exorcist, easily still.
I feel like just the whole ethos of Paranormal Activity, like it's not the same now. When it first came out and it was like hyped, dude, everyone was looking around their houses like, yo, that moved. Oh, that moved. Like that was me at least. I wasn't like a kid, but like I was in my teens, I think, when I saw it. So
I do know. Yeah. I do have another one, The Strangers. I don't know if you, Jared, I know you haven't seen that, but I don't know if you've seen that, Swanka, with Liv Tyler. It's a home invasion style movie, and we had just moved into our new house at the time, and it was in the woods, and I watched the trailer for the Strangers, and I don't know why. It's a really good trailer, and it just stuck with me, and I was scared to like look outside of my own house at night because I thought somebody might try to break in. You never know. So The Strangers too. It's pretty spooky movie.
Yeah, I like Strangers too. I like The Strangers as well. And I really like the line where they're like, so why'd you choose us? And they're like, because you were home.
You were home. Like, exactly. It's like,
no motivation.
Plus you were just home.
Yeah. Nothing more terrifying than that, because that means it could be you.
Because you were home.
Anyone.
Yeah, literally.
Yeah, I think the movie that freaked me out, just in general, horror movies in general, when I was a kid, freaked me out because I just was like I just had a vivid imagination. I still do, and I'd watch a movie and I would think about it a lot, even like when I wasn't watching the movie. So that would freak you out. But specifically, I would say Friday the 13th, and the reason, excuse me, not Friday the 13th, Nightmare on Elm Street, and the reason why I'm saying Nightmare on Elm Street is because Freddy Krueger gets you in your dreams, and I'm like,
dreams.
I remember thinking as a kid, like,
that's terrifying.
Jason, I just don't go to Crystal Lake. Like you'll be fine. Like Jason doesn't leave. He doesn't leave that vicinity. So I just need to find out where that is and just not go there. And I'll not go there. With Freddy Krueger, like I have to go to sleep. He was inescapable. So for me, that was very frightening. Like the idea that no matter what you do, no matter how strong you are, no matter how tough you are, eventually you got to go to sleep, and that's when he's going to get you. So that definitely freaked me out as a young.
I just rewatched it last weekend, and I realized like it still really holds up too, because like specifically the scene where Tina gets killed and like she's like flying all on the walls really channeled some Exorcist stuff there for me in my mind. Like just like you can't see him, but she's just getting completely murked right now, and like there's nothing you can do about it because he just wants you dead. So easily, yeah. Freddy, Jason, or Michael, Freddy is easily the most terrifying.
Yeah,
without fail.
Gotcha. Okay. So vampire movie, we kind of already talked about at the beginning, or I mentioned two movies that I really enjoyed that are vampire movies, Let the Right One In and Let Me In. Right. But I'm trying to think of other vampire movies. Interview with the Vampire, I think, was very good. Just because, based on the Anne Rice books, and I thought Tom Cruise was really good as a vampire in that. So was Brad Pitt, and I thought it was a great film. Did you guys happen to see that one?
No,
that's old school. I think.
And then also Bram Stoker's Dracula. Can't go wrong with that. I really enjoyed Bram Stoker's Dracula as well.
I've got one that's definitely under the radar. I don't know if people have heard of it, but it's called Only Lovers Left Alive.
Oh, I've heard that.
Oh, okay, yeah. So it's a 2013 movie with Tom Hiddleston and Tilda Swinton. It's a vampire movie. It's not really like a horror vampire movie. It's kind of like it's more like philosophical almost, because like they're vampires, so I think they're immortal too. So it's kind of like chronicling the relationship of vampires. It's like, to me, it's like if Twilight were done with like an intriguing story, I think is what Only Lovers Left Alive is. Anyway, so just I'm throwing one out there that's
wow.
Yeah, left field. But you know what? It's a movie channel, so
it's good.
Lots of movies people haven't seen.
I never heard you talk about it either.
I watched it when it came out, so 8 years ago.
Wow. Okay.
Right on. So we'll wrap up with our last segment, which is the Wheel of Time. Oh, so did you guys? What did you guys think? I know you've watched the trailer. We kind of talked about it offline. What did you guys think?
Yeah.
What are your expectations?
So, as a huge fantasy book nerd, because I love fantasy books, I was going to read Wheel of Time. It's a huge undertaking. Like it's 10 books. And I was going to start it, but I didn't I started the first book, didn't really get into it. But like, it's one of the most influential, like epic fantasy books. Like when people mention like some of those influential writers, they mention Tolkien, they mention Robert Jordan, who did Wheel of Time. So like, it's a very influential series. And I know it's like, it has a legion of fans. So I'm excited to see how they do it, how they do with it. But as far as it goes, like on Amazon, they have the budget, they have the cast, the tone and atmosphere feels pretty good. I'm liking it. And pretty much when it comes to fantasy, I'm immediately on board, because that's my favorite genre of just like when it comes to content or anything that's like a diversion, it's always fantasy. That's my go-to. So I'm really excited. And I like Rosamund Pike. So I'm excited to see how she does as, I forget her name, because I actually did know the name of the character, but yeah. So I'm excited. More excited for Lord of the Rings though. Excited for Lord of the Rings.
But I agree with most of what you went with there. Like I'm also big into fantasy. Amazon's clearly trying to get something that's going to be Game of Thrones-esque. I'm still more excited for House of the Dragon. I'm still more excited for The Witcher Season 2, for instance. I'm not familiar with Wheel of Time. Like, I'm going to watch it. I've seen it. It's intriguing for sure. Like, going to watch it. We'll see if it turns into if it will be the actual next Game of Thrones. I feel like that's such a huge undertaking. Everyone wants to try and make the next one. And honestly, I think if anyone's going to do it, it's probably going to be HBO just doing an actual next Game of Thrones as opposed to some other one. But but yeah, I'm still pumped to see it. It looks like it definitely has the budget. That's clear. Amazon gave it the funds it looks like it needed.
Yeah, no, I honestly had no awareness of the Wheel of Time. One of my friends, her name's Julie. She actually was on our last live stream. She had recommended it to me and sent me the trailer, and I was like, man, this looks like kind of like the perfect mix of like Game of Thrones, Avatar: The Last Bender. Like it just had like a genre mashup, which I always liked genre mashups, like Event Horizon being a horror science fiction. So yeah, no, I'm really excited for it. And the trailer looks awesome, and you know, I really feel like it has the potential to. Just on the surface, I know this is like going a little bit far, but I'm getting some Game of Thrones vibes, and the fact that it's got all these books and that they can base what they're doing on some existing popular property. That's
is
very
completed
well
too.
written. You know what I mean? So I have some high expectations for that show going in. So I'm pretty excited about it. I hope that it meets those expectations. But I think the trailer looks awesome. So.
Yeah, I think the whole world is waiting for the next Game of Thrones, because when you think about it, there was never like another show that captured like the cultural consciousness where pretty much every adult you knew and teenage, almost everyone you knew everything about these characters, whether you liked fantasy or not, whether you were using somebody else's HBO login, you found a way to watch Game of Thrones. And literally after Sunday night, after Sunday, Monday, everyone is talking about it. And when a new season comes out, everyone's like discussing it. Everyone's theorizing. Watch parties are happening. I don't think another show's ever done that.
Casted across the globe. It was released at the same time everywhere to prevent spoilers. Yeah, it's next level.
So I feel like there hasn't been another show before or after that I can really think of that's really been like a continuation of like seasons and seasons of just legions of devoted fans and just such good storytelling. So we'll see. It's going to be a moniker, the next Game of Thrones. We'll see if it can fill those shoes, but we'll see. It seems quite different in terms of tone, but hopefully it's good. Excited.
Right on. Well, yeah, I mean that basically wraps up our stream today. Appreciate everybody stopping by, dropping a comment and a like and all that good stuff. Jared, Jordan, thank you guys for coming on. Appreciate your thoughts and your expertise on everything movies, TV, and geeky entertainment.
Yeah,
and right on. So for the best in entertainment, reviews and more, this is the way.
This is the way.
Signing off.